So it's been a minute since I've uploaded a video, and I didn't want to just jump into regular content, especially as things are going to shift slightly. And so I just wanted to kind of give a life update on what's been going on. First of all, if this is your first time ever seeing my face, hi, I'm Brittany. I am a homeschool mom of 4 kids and a wife and a Christian, and that's the kind of stuff that I tend to talk about. I kind of fell off the face of the earth here on YouTube, but it's kind of for a good reason. Things kind of took a little bit of a turn around about mid-April, and it kind of threw me for a loop, and I was trying to figure out what I needed to be doing, what the Lord was prompting me to do, especially when it came to social media. I started to have these questions on if I really should be talking about the things that I was talking about, whether I had the appropriate amount of experience and the appropriate level of knowledge to be able to share the things that I was trying to share on YouTube. As I have been praying for the past several months, as I have talked to friends, as I've talked a lot to my husband, I felt like now the Lord was prompting and my husband was encouraging me to pick back up the camera, but to kind of shift on how I was doing things. So I don't want to go into a whole lot of details of everything that happened. Just some things that made me realize that I'm still very much in the learning process when it comes to parenting and when it comes to marriage and when it comes to being a homemaker. And I do believe that those who should be giving wisdom and sharing wisdom should have had the full experience of, 15, 20 years of marriage, or, releasing children out into the world. And I don't want to try to give the impression that I am in any way, shape, or form an expert, especially when it comes to biblical womanhood. I am very much learning. So briefly, a life update on where we are at. So we are back in the swing of homeschool. We have spent the past, last time I got on here I said was April, so May, June, July, August, 4 months doing a lot of stuff around our house. We had the Hurricane Beryl came through. We live in Southeast Texas, and so that greatly affected us. We didn't have any damage to our house, praise the Lord, but it was just another thing on the list of things. We had a lot of people in our community that were affected by it, and we were displaced for a little bit, but it was not anything compared to those who actually had real problems. So we just had a lot of issues with that. My mother-in-law was injured, and she fell and broke her hip, and so we were over there for several weeks trying to help her reacclimate. Summertime tends to be really busy for us with our church. There's a lot of things that go on around the summer. And so, and then in our home, we have just been having a lot of old house problems. And the Lord has been so faithful in teaching me to trust Him, and to trust Him with our home, and to trust Him with the problems in our home, and His timing, and the way that He's going to reveal things, and the way that He's going to work things out. The past 4 months have been a solid time of what I would call refinement. There were some things that could have potentially been bad, but they all turned into enormous blessings. God was so gracious, and so I am really excited about where He is taking us and how He is refining me in particular, but our family as a whole, and the way that He has been working and moving. And so what that means for what I am going to be putting out, because I said I'm not going to be doing any more of the biblical womanhood, the parenting and marriage advice specifically. What I want to talk more about is specifically homeschooling. Homeschooling is my passion. You can ask anybody in real life. I could talk your ear off about homeschooling all day long. So homeschooling, I want to really focus on that. I want to talk a lot about homemaking amidst homeschooling, what that looks like practically. And I am not perfect at it. I am very much learning. Little tidbit about me. I am not a very neat person naturally. I'm not a very organized person naturally. I have been formally diagnosed with ADHD. I have some qualms spiritually about the actual diagnosis and all of that stuff, but I have the characteristics and things of ADHD that attribute to some of my spaciness and my clutterbug-esqueness. I'm making that a word. I am reforming in that way. I am coming out of being a clutterbug, especially with the issues we've had with our home. It is imperative that I keep our home into a minimal aspect, that all of our stuff is kept and very clean, and that we are trying to cut down on how much stuff we have. And so I am in the process of coming out of being a clutterbug. Let me put it that way. And I am learning the very real life nitty-gritty how to keep a home, how to keep it clean. I've mentioned before, I was raised in a double income family. Both of my parents worked. They worked long hours. And so my parents were pretty well off. We had a maid. And so I was not trained in how to keep a home. And so to go from a home where there was literally a maid would come in and clean, and we were not expected to do cleaning, to now I am a homemaker and I have to keep my own home, even at the age of, I think I'm 35. You know when you get to that age, whenever you start like, am I 35? I think I'm 35. I'm 35. So even at 35, still learning on how to keep a clean home. So you can come along with me on that journey as I am learning to implement all of these systems and routines. And yeah. So at this stage, I would say that I am pretty well on my way of keeping these systems going. And so I feel comfortable sharing some of the things that I've learned and some of the things that I'm learning. I will continue to have like meal plans and grocery hauls because that's part of being a homemaker, and stuff is fun too. So that is what you're going to find here now. Part of the whole social media thing that I did talk about briefly is that the Lord strongly convicted me that I have this issue with social media. I can get sucked into it like everybody else. I tend to have a very addictive personality, and so I tend to get sucked into it. I also battle a lot of discontentment when I'm on there, just like a lot of people. And I also battle a lot of pride. And so I can fall into that, like, oh, look at me and what I'm doing, that trap. And I really was feeling very convicted about it the past several months. And so I have deleted my Instagram. I am no longer on Instagram. I have a personal Facebook page. I'm not even on there very much anymore. And I don't approve people that I don't know. So you can find me here. And that's about it. I will do YouTube videos, but that is about it. And most of the stuff I'm going to be talking about is homeschooling. And I realize that that's very niche and that's not going to appeal to some of the people that are here. I will still have homemaking stuff, but that's kind of the stage of life that I'm in and the things that I like to talk about. So if that is of interest to you, I hope that you will consider sticking around. We are jumping into... I am very late to the game on this one. All of our homeschool curriculum for this year, we've already started. We are on week 4 of homeschool. And so we have already figured out what we like, what we don't like, what we're keeping, what we're going to get rid of next year. And so, yeah, that will be the next 4 videos, I think, coming up, and they will be back to back. So I hope you'll stick around. And with that, I'll see you next time. Bye.